Let's talk about quantum jumping. I absolutely love this topic. And when I had my healing center, I taught a quantum jumping class every week. That was one of the best attended classes that I had. I think it's because people are curious about what it is and what it can do for you. And so I want to quickly break down what quantum jumping is. So if you think about in quantum physics, there's a thing called superposition, which is that all possibilities exist simultaneously. Think about it like all of these things, all these possibilities kind of exist simultaneously. The second we use our brain, our mind to make a decision about something, all of these possibilities, they collapse down into one, the one you've chosen. And that turns from a particle into a wave of creation. You've used your brain to create in the quantum field a desired result. Okay, so that's just in a nutshell. That's the universe backing you up and always saying yes to whatever it is. Like, regardless of if it's negative or positive, that's the universe saying, I got you. We're going to bring this into creation because you've made a decision that that's what you are putting the most focus on or what you want. This is why it's so important to keep our thoughts positive and not focus on the negative, because if you focus on the negative, that adds power and energy into one of those options in superposition and collapses all the other good and positive things that you really desire. They make those go away and bring focus to the one that you want. There's so much more. I mean, it's like everything's so connected, and it's so hard to just like try to pick one little thing out and try to explain it, because it's all these other different things that are entangled with it that also affect it, that are important. But for time's sake, we'll just keep it there. Now, quantum jumping is getting into a deep trance state. And we kind of just get your brain waves down into a theta state. I guide your journey to find a version of you that exists in a simultaneous timeline. All possibilities exist simultaneously. So, for instance, let's say you've got some illness that you're dealing with and you want to find a version of you remember what it feels like to be well. So what you would do is set your intention before class or before your meditation, because you can do this for yourself. It doesn't have to be a guided one through me or someone else. It can be something that you do for yourself. Essentially what you're doing is finding the version of you that exists simultaneously that is well, and you meet that version of yourself in meditation. You jump to that timeline and you integrate with that version of yourself. Here's the rub. That version of yourself is existing at a certain vibratory frequency that you, in this challenge version, are not cohesive with. So what I like to do is, instead of it feeling like, oh, all I have to do is just find this version of myself and I can integrate and bring it back. No, what you need to do is find the frequency of that version of yourself, feel where it lives in your body, so that when you come back to this, like, we would definitely integrate that, yes, in a guided quantum jumping experience. We would meet that version of you. We would stay in that space, ask questions, because it's not a made up version. It's like you're finding yourself on a parallel timeline that's well, and you're saying, what does the well version of myself feel like? I need to remind my cellular structure and my body and my conscious mind what that feels like. And so you're asking that version of yourself questions. You're also standing there and feeling into the frequency, into the vibration of that version of yourself. And then we integrate, we become one. We bring that, as much of that frequency, back into this timeline as you possibly can. And if you're close enough, you can even pull that timeline in, or you jump to that timeline. It's basically timeline jumping. But what we're doing is using the quantum field to get there. So you're collapsing all of the work in between it's a shortcut, because you're in the quantum field where everything is possible simultaneously. So this isn't a belief system. This isn't about it's not woo woo. It's physics. This is literally the fabric that our existence and our reality is made up of, is all of these possibilities all around us all the time. Whatever we give our focus to is what becomes reality. You're birthing it with your focus. That's so if you have something in your life that you don't want, you've birthed that either with subconscious thought or with conscious thought, probably a little bit of both. And so what you need to do is figure out how you give birth to something else that you would prefer. Here's another complication, if you will. Sometimes things arrive in your life because they're part of your soul path and they have to be here for a certain amount of time, whether it's to pay back karma, to teach you a lesson, what have you. And so it's your job to sit and figure out if whatever it is that you've created or that is you're experiencing in your life, if your soul has mapped that out for you to learn something from. Maybe your soul mapped it out so that you could figure out how to undo it or how to get through the challenge of it. Every person's situation for the challenges that they face are created exclusively for them. There is no one size fits all. There is no, she did it like this, I should be able to do it like that. There's no like, do this and this will happen. None of that shit is real. What you have to do is figure out your own path. All the tools are real. Every tool that everybody is using for manifesting, for creating, for alchemizing, all of those tools exist for every single one of us the same. Your challenges and your how you overcome it and why it's there in your life is completely different. And what worked for somebody may not work for you. And that's not because you're doing it wrong. That's because your path is different than theirs. And that's all you have to remember. Quantum jumping in general is just about bypassing the current reality, finding a reality that you prefer, figuring out what the vibration of that is, and collapsing that down into reality. So if you want to know a little bit more, if you want me to go deeper into this topic, I absolutely will. I love so much talking about this kind of stuff. I love quantum jumping. I love quantum physics. I love the possibility. I love how all this stuff lives around us and crackles all around us. There's a reason why we have not been taught any of this, and it's because it makes you powerful. And because if you actually knew how to create and we were taught and we were programmed with how to create, we would be unstoppable. We would not be able to be controlled. But we're programmed to be victims. We're programmed to accept what we don't want. We're programmed to rely on other people outside of us to fix us, to heal us. That's what we're programmed to do. That's this reality. You have to overcome that. You have to take your power back and become a sovereign being and take advantage of the tools that were given to us by our creator to navigate this crazy ass 3D world that we all live in. If you want to know more, leave me a message in the comments and let me know. I'll do another video. I'll do another deep dive. That's it for me today. I'll see you guys on the next video. I love you.